Hi everyone! So yesterday we made this super cute sugar cookie Christmas ornament out of Sculpey clay, and it was so easy and turned out so cute that I thought we'd make another one to show you guys how easy it is to make this little ornament. So here are a few of the materials that we used to make it. We just got some Sculpey clay, we got one in tan, and we got green. And then we used just some leftover red clay that we had. A clay softener. Liquid Sculpey, the adhesive. A satin glaze, a toothbrush for adding texture to the cookie part. We have this little smoothing sculpting tool. A popsicle stick. A toothpick for cleaning up little tiny details. We have this Play-Doh mold or cutter, I guess. We have a roller for rolling it out. Just some stuff to make our project a little bit easier. I will also use like an eye pin to stick into the tree so that we can attach a string to it and turn it into an ornament. So I'm going to do this all on a silicone baking sheet, but this baking sheet I only use for clay and slime. I do not use this for food. So first we're going to take some of the tan clay and we're just going to roll it in our hands, smush it around, make it nice and soft. And then we're going to roll it out and cut it out with our Play-Doh cutter. Once we have our shape cut out, I'm going to go around with a toothpick and just clean up the edges, carefully pulling away the little pieces that I don't like. I want it to be as smooth as possible. Then once I have that done, I'm going to take this toothbrush and I'm going to pat it along the edges of our shape to kind of give it that sugar cookie texture. I don't want it to be too smooth. I want it to look like it's a cookie that's been baked in the oven. Before I do anything else, I'm going to take this eye pin and I'm going to very carefully place it inside my clay. And I want to make sure that it's not poking through either side. And now I'm going to turn my whole pan around and I'm going to work on my green icing. Once again, I'm going to soften the clay with my hands, roll it into a ball, and then I'm going to roll it out. And I want it to be really thin because I want it to just be icing. I don't want it to be as thick as the cookie shape. And now that I've cut out the Christmas tree shape, I need to make it smaller than the original cookie shape. So I'm going to use a toothpick to cut around the edges and make the shape a little bit smaller. This might be easier with a knife, I'm not sure, but because of its size, I feel like the toothpick is just a little bit easier for me. I don't know. And then once I have the shape cut out, I'm going to clean up the edges again with the toothpick because I don't want those edges to be rough. I want it to be a little bit smoother. And then I'm going to take some of the liquid Sculpey adhesive and I'm going to put it on the back of our icing piece and then lay it flat on top of our sugar cookie piece. Once I have it placed and I like where it is, I'm going to clean it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to use some of the clay softener and my sculpting tool to smooth out the edges, and those sharp corners from cutting it out, I'm going to slightly round it out so that it looks like frosting or icing on the cookie. I do like it to still look like it was handmade. I don't want it to look like it came out of a machine, so I'm not going for perfection. I'm just going for a cleaner look. Now I'm going to take the smallest amount possible of my red clay and I'm going to roll this out really thin to look like garland and place it gently on top of the green icing. I'm just going to gently press it into the green, but I don't want to completely flatten it. I like to keep that domed shape to it. For the sprinkles, you can either use more polymer clay, but I'm actually using these tiny glass beads that I have in my craft drawer. I like the way they shine, and I think they make perfect little sprinkles. And I'm just going to push these carefully into the green icing. Now it's ready to bake. I'm going to put this in the oven at 275 for 15 minutes. Okay, so this is done baking and has cooled down. Before I removed it from the oven, I turned the oven off and I left the door slightly cracked open so that it could cool down gradually because I didn't want any of the clay to crack. But now that it's cooled down, we're going to use the satin glaze and we're just going to put a very thin coat on top of it and let it sit for 30 minutes and let that dry, and that'll make the icing look glossy. I don't want to put the glaze on the actual cookie part because I want it to look dry. And now that the glaze is dried, I'm going to take this thin white ribbon and I'm just going to lace it through the eye pin. And then I'm going to tie a knot, trim it, and then I'm going to use a lighter to singe the edges of the ribbon so it doesn't fray. And that's it. You're done with your ornament and it's super cute.